Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Meet the Mayoral Candidates Q&A session, night 3. My name is Jasmine Jefferson with Pontiac United, and my co-moderator tonight is Damar Bias. And tonight's candidate is Jeremy Bowie. Before we begin, we would like to make sure that you know that we do not endorse any of the candidates. We are just providing you the information, and you can go from there and make the proper decisions when it comes to election day. Questions tonight were sent in by citizens to our Pontiac United email address, and we will also be pulling questions from the live feeds on the Pontiac United YouTube page, the Asante Lucas YouTube page, and the Asante Lucas Facebook pages. So don't hesitate to send in any questions you might have. Damar, I will now hand it off to you.
My name is Damar Bias, former City of Pontiac employee, former City Council candidate. I guess I'm representing the public at large just to co-moderate this event. Tonight we have Jeremy Bowie with us. We're going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself to you guys before we start our Q&A sessions.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jasmine, Damar. Good evening, Pontiac citizens. I am Jeremy Bowie, and I am running for mayor of the city of Pontiac. Born and raised here in Pontiac, still reside here in Pontiac. I'm a graduate of Bagley School. I'm a graduate of Harrington Elementary School, James Madison Junior High School, and Pontiac Northern, the Huskies, Go Big Red, class of 2006. I am the son of Josephine Bowie, who I love dearly, Quincy Hayes, who I love dearly, and I have 3 sisters, Sean, Marlene, Tara. Sean is going on to glory. She passed. And I have 2 older brothers, Jonathan Bowie and Quincy Hayes. So I am Pontiac, born and raised here, graduate of Michigan State University, 2011, go green, go white. I'm a proud Spartan with a BA in political science. And then I went off to, and while at Michigan State, I traveled around the world to Brazil, New Zealand, doing various studies. And I am a graduate of Thomas M. Cooley Law School, which was Western Michigan Law School. And I went back to Thomas M. Cooley Law School, class of 2015. And I am a licensed attorney. I passed the July 2016 bar. The February 2016 bar. And I began at the prosecutor's office in 2016 as a domestic violence prosecutor. And then I went to private practice February of 2020, where I currently reside. I am a criminal defense attorney and for a law firm in downtown Detroit. And I'm also a licensed realtor. So that's me in a nutshell. I love mentoring. I've been mentoring the kids at International Technology Academy since 2016, 17, 16. And so that's me in a nutshell.
All right.
For that introduction. To begin, we had a couple questions last night that weren't answered from our live feed, so I would like to start with those, if that's okay. The first one is from Mr. Sean Preston. He asks, would you support a community benefits agreement for big corporations and new developments?
I would. Pontiac tends to sometimes act like a kid in a candy store. We get these big corporations to come here because we're excited of the brand of the corporation and how huge it is. But we need to make sure that they understand when they come into our community that they must support our community and make our community better, from environmentally all the way to economically. And so me as mayor at the table with these corporations will say, hey, we want you here, but I need a certain percentage of your workers to be, if you want this, then I need a certain percentage of your employees to be from Pontiac. I need you to train our people to work your job. So I agree with a community benefit agreement with these corporations to make sure that they're not coming here and just excluding our people, that our people are getting these jobs and they're protecting and helping the city environmentally all the way economically.
Okay, so the first question that I have, and we've asked it to each candidate because it's of huge importance. So far, we've had a lack of true partnership between the mayor's office and city council. So we just want to hear what would be your plan to bridge that gap.
Well, we have to be on one accord to move the city forward. And any personal issues and any personal agendas must be left outside of City Hall. We are here to conduct the business of the city. So the first thing we need to do, we need to have a clear, unabridged line of communication. City Council needs to set their expectations for the mayor, and the mayor needs to set their expectations of the City Council. The mayor must follow the charter. The City Council must follow the charter. And any issues we may have, we need to have those behind closed doors. Those do not need to leak out to the press. They do not need to be on City Council meetings and on videos. That's just embarrassing. So one of the things we need to do is team building exercises. We need training on how to disagree respectfully disagree with each other, but yet move this city forward. In the meetings, we need a parliamentarian. We have a lot of business that we need to get through, and we need to make sure we get through it effectively and efficiently. So it's just simply extending the olive branch and understanding that we're professionals and we need to get this work done. We need to get work done on behalf of the city of Pontiac. So parliamentarian, we need to have meet and greets, whatever we need to do, meet up at someone's house and just fellowship, whatever, to get the synergy right between city council and the mayor.
The next question I have for you is another question from last night that we didn't get to. It's from Mr. Mikhail Goodman. He says, what experience would you say you have had to prepare you for being the chief executive officer of our city?
Well, being the chief executive officer of the city, honestly, you can't do everything to prepare. There is no politician anywhere in the United States of America that can handle every single issue. But there are some critical areas that we need skill set and competence in. For one, I'm an attorney. I'm a licensed, trained attorney in 2 different jurisdictions here in the state of Michigan and Washington, D.C. So when it comes to the law, I'm not saying I'm the best lawyer in the world. I'm not saying I'm the smartest lawyer in the world, but it will take a lot to get things past me at the negotiation table. So Pontiac would be strong with me in mayor as for a legal standpoint, period, when we need to enter into contracts. I'm also a realtor. I understand the real estate game. Like I said, I'm not the best realtor. I haven't been in long, but I do understand the ins and outs of a real estate contract, commercial transactions, residential transactions. So that's another skill set for Pontiac. Negotiations. I've been sitting at the table negotiating. If it's negotiating with people who suing insurance companies to negotiating plea deals in a wide range of negotiations, I'm strong there. I'm a people person. I love to communicate, contact people, understand their problems. So these are the skill sets I bring to the table that will help Pontiac flourish. And also, I look at the mayor position as being a point guard on a basketball team. A lot of times the point guard can't dunk. A lot of times the point guard ain't the best three-point shooter, but they understand the movement and how to shuffle everything around to make people better so they can do their jobs. That's what being a mayor of Pontiac is if you're weak at something, you find somebody who's strong and you set your vision within them and they carry it out.
All right, we got another question that was asked last night that we were asked to bring back up. What would be your plan to bring back a sense of trust for our local city government?
Making government accessible, transparent, and ethical. Opening the books up. Here's an audit. This is what happened. This is the money that came in. This is where it was spent. Making people feel like they can get information from government without jumping through hoops. That's what transparent. That's how you build trust. And then also making transactions or handling city business in a manner of where you're always asking the first question on your mind when you sit in a meeting is, okay, so how does this benefit Pontiac? Not me, not the board. It's coming in with the agenda of saying the first question is, how does this benefit Pontiac? And like I said, also just making everything transparent, our city council meeting transparent. If you want to come look at the records, you can come look at the unredacted records of the money coming in out of the city. And so that's how you build trust, right? People want to, and tell the truth. If something is detrimental, just tell the truth. Don't hide behind something that is false. Truth hurts sometimes, and the truth will be hard to tell and take. But at the end of the day, they will say, well, at least Mayor Bowie was honest. At least he told us what it was. So that's how you build trust back in the government.
The next question is from Ted in District 6. He says, my question is, with President Biden proposing this $1 trillion infrastructure plan, what do you plan on doing for the city of Pontiac if the state of Michigan will get any of that money to rebuild roads and whatnot?
So one of the ideas I had was, going around the city of Pontiac and kind of putting a grading scale on the roads, right? So the red ones are, we need these done immediately. So cold red roads are roads that we need done as soon as yesterday. Cold orange roads are ones that are almost red, but we need to get immediately done after we get all of the red done. And then the yellow will be the ones like, we can wait a little while. And of course, the green ones, we're good to go. So first step is identifying the roads that we need done immediately. And then working with the state, the Department of Transportation, and the governor to get funding for these roads. And then also, I want citizens to send me bills for any damage done to their cars because of this road. So I can take it up there and say, my citizens in a city that doesn't make a lot of money, have to spend their hard dollars on fixing their car on roads that the state is responsible for. So either you reimburse them for their car issues or you come fix our roads, or do both. So that's my plan, is to get with the Department of Transportation and the governor, sending these bills, sending our roads to them, and getting funding immediately.
Okay, so we have 3 hot button issues right now as it faces the city of Pontiac. So not to have you answer 3 different questions, we'll just run them down. So number 1 is the litigation with the Phoenix Center. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is the expiring contract on the fire department. Mm-hmm. And number 3 is the youth recreation issue. So they would like to know, where do you stand on those 3 issues?
All right, let's start off with the litigation. So here's the deal about the Phoenix Center, and this is my take on it. Pontiac does not have a grocery store in its city limits, a major grocery store in its city limits. And so downtown would have been perfect for one of those. And we could have leveraged a relationship to where we have food growers here in the city of Pontiac, in which we could have leveraged them to, for example, Meyer. Hey, Meyer, there's person A on the south side. They grow tomatoes. They grow this and that. Can we get a contract when you come into the city that you can get tomatoes from Citizen A, right? That's recycling the dollar back into Pontiac. But the litigation for the Pontiac Phoenix Center is a disaster. The contract we just signed, we were forced to sign that contract. So let's not act like that was a brilliant thing. What happened was we needed to fix the Phoenix Center within a certain number of years. We did nothing. That's what we signed the contract for. And you don't need a law degree to understand contract law, that if you sign a contract with the terms in and you don't meet them, that's a breach of contract. And the person who is seeking performance from you and don't get it, they can sue you for compensatory damages and consequential damages. And so we had to backdoor into this deal to keep from being sued and having to pay $30+ million to the owners of the Ottawa Tower. And so the litigation is, well, now we're in this contract and we're co-borrowers on the contract. And so now we're stuck. But the issue with the Phoenix Center is, since it came downtown, it just hasn't taken off. It's been a failed project from the beginning. And I don't understand any business person who has a failed product that sticks with it and fights with it for over 30 something years. So that's my issue with the litigation. We're stuck in it. We're stuck. So we got to do what we need to do underneath it, so Pontiac won't suffer anymore. Moving on to the fire department. I was watching the other night, and it was a question about should Pontiac bring a fire department back. I say we should, but we can't do it on a mass scale. Maybe we start off with one engine and a couple of people interested in being firefighters from the city of Pontiac, if there is a population in Pontiac willing to do so. So I agree with bringing the fire department back. We can't go mass. We have to start small and then build up. And also, we need to find other cities to sign on to to take care of our fire issues here in the city of Pontiac. We can't be stuck with just Waterford. We have Bloomfield, we have Troy, but you have to worry about response time. So I agree with going with another contract with a fire department, but we can build our own as we go. It won't be mass, but we have to start small. And with the youth, there's no recreation center on the east side for those children over there. It's way over there by Crystal Lake, by the golf course. So we need to build community centers for our kids. They're walking the streets, and there's no good by walking these streets. They're bored, they have nothing to do, and that is not their fault. That is the city of Pontiac's fault, because child activity, youth activity have declined rapidly over the years. And so I want a youth center on the east side, and I want us to get one, work out something on the west side to where these kids have somewhere to go after school, on the weekends, and in the summer.
Okay, the next question may or may not be an easy one or a difficult one. But Walter from District 3 asks, what would you do to bring people together?
So, Pontiac has a variety of cultures here in the city, right? We have Hmong people, we have Hispanic people, Black people, white people. Like, we are really the melting pot of Oakland County. And so we should take advantage of that. So I would love cultural festivals. I would love, maybe during Black History Month, you walk in City Hall and you see Black history artifacts and history and things of that nature. And then when it's AAPI month, Asian American Pacific Islanders month, you walk in and you see items of, that community and learning their history. We're putting on programming to bridge the gap between the different ethnicities in our city. So that's one way. Also, like I said, festivals, we have to throw things for the community, and the community has to come out, right? We can throw it, but if 10 people come out, we want to see you come out to the events thrown here in Pontiac and just mingling with people, because this is your city. This is a representation of you, and you should want to know people in your city and interact with people in your city.
Another question came through, and the question is, what would you do in your first 100 days?
My first 100 days, one, like I said, I would love to get a parliamentarian in so we can effectively, transact the business of the city of Pontiac. Two, I will definitely find another law firm to represent our city. I don't think our city has been fairly represented by the law firm that we currently have. And then to begin working on supporting the education system, working on programs to help out retention, to help bring the numbers of test scores up. And people don't like the mayor talking about that, but the survival of the education system is based upon the city. So there may be two different figureheads, but they're still interconnected if you take a deep analytical look at how the school operates. So I definitely want to work on that. Get up to Lansing with these car bills. And I'm honest, I will send letters out. I will call and say, send your car bill up for a pothole that tore your tire rod, or that you hit so hard your trunk popped open. Send that to me so I can send that up to Lansing. So definitely we will review the roads, put a report together, and send it up to Lansing in the first 100 days. Also, I thought about our brothers and sisters in Flint, the issues they went through with the water. Make sure our water lines are great, that our water is good and healthy for our kids. And also, Detroit recently $660 million in overtaxed their citizens. I want to make sure that our property taxes, our properties here in Pontiac are audited correctly, so that way our citizens don't have to face $660 million and for the government to say there's nothing we can do. So that's what I will work on my first 100 days. Oh, and also working with Sheriff Bouchard and getting more police officers on our street. Amazon doesn't need our help. You don't need to be riding up and down Featherstone. Their owner just bought a $500 million boat. All right, they got enough money. They're throwing it away on yachts. We need Oakland County sheriffs in our neighborhoods, because I was walking and canvassing tomorrow, and people were telling me I haven't seen the sheriff down my street and I don't know when. That's ridiculous. You're here to patrol our city, and if you don't want to, we'll find somebody else.
The next question is from Sarah from District 5. What are your methods to combat recent crime?
Once again, that's a conversation with Sheriff Bouchard. Obviously we don't have our police force, and Oakland County Sheriff has signed on to police our city. That's just a simple conversation sitting down with him and laying out my expectations. We have drive-by shootings, we have murders, we have kids getting in, breaking glass across the street, stealing, and it's at a level to where it's really taking our declining the value of our neighborhoods, and it's really not their fault because they have nothing else to do. And so we need Bouchard in our neighborhoods, connecting with our communities and just talking with our citizens and figuring out what the issues are and actually doing something about it. If we need more police, I'm hearing that they're looking to hire 10 to 12 more sheriffs. Perfect. Please let them be from the city of Pontiac, because they know our city, they know our language and our culture, and they'll be able to gain the trust of the community that is lacking between the city of Pontiac and the Oakland County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, next, fairly a hot topic issue is the medical marijuana issue. What is your standpoints and how do you think it should be resolved?
I believe, it's interesting. We black men were massively incarcerated due to having marijuana, right? And so now it's an epiphany, boom. Oh, it's a miracle. It's good for the health. Oh, we should, enterprise it and people can make money off of it. Well, what about the individuals that you criminalize? So I am very big on the minority community, getting easy access to opening up a medical marijuana facility and being able to run it as a business to, generate money. So I want to work with, banks. I want to work with the community foundations to help African Americans or minorities in general to get funding so they can open up medical marijuana facilities. I mean, it's here, it's going to be in our city. It's going to be around us. We should profit off of that. Of course, there's laws and regulations, but once again, minority community has been hammered by the prison industrial complex with, possessing marijuana, smoking marijuana, and now it's legal. Their reparations would be to expunge their records and allow them to be able to open medical marijuana facilities and learning how to run a business and being able to profit.
Okay.
The next question is, how are you going to address the slumlords who don't live here, renting their property to anyone and not taking care of those properties?
So, well, the first thing I want to do is have a comprehensive list of all commercial properties and, residential properties that are owned by absentee owners. And then what we need to do is we need to enforce our city blight code. We need to find these owners because they don't care. They're absentee as long as it's bringing money in, as long as it's barely meeting the warranty of habitability, then they're not going to put any efforts into making property safe for their tenants. And so that's one, create a comprehensive list. I need to know every single property that has an absentee owner within the city limits of Pontiac. Two, do an inspection of that that property, and making sure that we notify the owners, okay, we've respected your property. This is what you need to fix. You have this amount of days, or it's going to be a fine every single day until you bring it up to code. Absentee owners they don't have any interest in the city of Pontiac outside of getting money. And when they let their property slide, they hurt our residents. They hurt our citizens because it devalues their property. And so, and to piggyback on that, one of the things I want to do is empower residents to be able to buy the abandoned house next door, because they care about their community and they're going to take care of that home. And they can also help people in the community who need housing. So that's my plan.
Okay, so we did speak to about bridging the gap with city council. How do you feel about working partnership with the Pontiac School District?
Your community is only as good as the education it provides. Period. Okay. If Bloomfield had the problems we had, they would be rioting. If Troy had the problems we had, they would be rioting. Rochester Hills. You go to those communities, it's beautiful. Pontiac can be that or better. I believe even better. So, whoever the superintendent is, if it's still Superintendent Williams, whoever it is, they have my personal cell phone number. They have my ear, because we cannot get people into this city if their children and their family can't be raised and educated in this community safely. And so one of the things I want to do is maybe start implementing incentivizing group parenting. What that means is, for example, let's say us three right here, we have kids in the third grade, right? What the Pontiac mayor could say is, all right, the group of children who have the highest attendance in school, the best grades, and the greatest character at the end of the school year, you get $3,000 toward a 529 college saving plan. So we're incentivizing group parenting, and we're investing into their future of education. And the reason why I would do that for the third, fourth, and fifth grade is because this is the grade levels where you see the greatest despair between African American kids and their counterparts. This is where you see the gap widening, and minority kids are still stuck here. So we can, a lot of times with our demographics, we have a lot going on. We have to face more social issues than any other race, any other demographic. But we are not alone. We need to promote group parenting. Parent A calls parent B and see how they're doing and how they can support parent B and parent C. Just creating that community-oriented approach to education again. And that's how we can begin seeing these numbers rise, and we can also invest into the future of our children. But once again, I'll end on this. We have millennials. We make up most of the world's population now. And we're looking for communities where we can settle down and raise our kids. And if your community is not offering education, public service, but yet you have a house in Seminole Hills that's $265,000, you're not going to get people to buy that, because I got to travel to take my kid to another district. I may not want to come home. I got to come home certain parts of the night, or I might hear gunshots or things of that nature. Or, if I call the police, they may be here, they may not be here. So that's why education is important. It'll bring the city back quicker than businesses will.
Piggybacking off of the education piece, Lakaya from District 3 sent in this question. She says, what plans do you have to restore the school district, meaning welcoming incoming students and working on sports and other things that will bring college scouts to our city? Our kids have a hard time paying for extracurricular activities without a promise of a college degree.
So I read in the newspaper today that United Wholesale Mortgaging is putting $10 million into the soccer arenas over there on South Boulevard. And they're having programming they're having youth programming over the athletics program. So I believe that's the first start, is partnering with UWM and figuring out how we can leverage them to put athletics back, fix our fields and bring athletics back to Pontiac. Summer youth programs, right? Because back in the day, we had all these football teams around the city, and they were like training grounds for the next running back at Central or the next quarterback at Northern. And so we need to rebuild this pipeline. And so we need to use the youth money we get. We need to partner with maybe UWM and pool that money together and begin putting athletic programs back in the city. That way, when scouts come in, they see them young and they stay with them. And so when you do that, when you have like a Coach Bowie that sees DeMar, who's an amazing quarterback in the 3rd, 4th grade, then I stay with DeMar all the way to the 12th grade. DeMar's grades will likely be higher. His athletic skills will likely be D1 level. And that way he can get a scholarship, either an athletic or academic scholarship. So that's the plan, to partner with private companies and using the youth millage to create these programs. That way these kids can get scouted early and, they have a better chance at success. I do like what the high school is doing with the millage, with the new football field, track, softball field, and baseball field. My only issue is I can get that at Rochester, and guess what else I can get? A better education. So that's why it's important when we pull back to education, is that is going to set up success for the city of Pontiac, because you can have a nice field, but if my kid can't get to college because the athletic talent he's facing is not as great, and also he's not getting the grades where he can get into a university and walk on potentially, then it's for naught.
All right, we have a question. Kim from District 3, what do you think of the current administration's... What do you think of why the funding has been spent from the current administration on things that the city does not agree with, and how can we trust you to be better with our tax dollars?
So the issue is there's no accountability. There's no, well, can we look at the books? Where is the money going? That's the first step, is transparency. It's putting together a plan or a budget and saying, here's our money. This is what we're thinking about spending it on. Really engaging the citizens of Pontiac and getting their opinion about what's important to you. As I'm hearing on here, the road is important. The next contract for the fire department is important. So that's the plan, to be more transparent, have an audit so you can see where the money is going, and then also listening to the community and figuring out what do they want best. Now, there are some things that, you just have to do as city officials. Your job is to lead the city forward. But also, part of that job is to listen to the citizens and come to the city council meetings, email the mayor, email the city council and say, hey, this is what we want to do. This is how are you spending the money on this? Why are you spending the money on that? It all comes down to transparency and integrity and ethics.
Okay.
The next question I have is, how would you solve the city's affordable housing crisis without opening the door to gentrification?
Good question. I would target developers who develop for low-income homes, right? So one of the things I want to do is do like a city open house. Bring in realtors, bring in contractors to come in and look at the city and say, hey, we need affordable housing here. We need affordable housing there. What do you think about this, that, or the other? Giving incentives for low affordable housing is how we can attract people to come here, build, and keep prices to where our citizens, they can live like human beings, right? People think low income home means a shabby shack or anything like that. No, it does not have to be that. So just targeting programming, first finding grants for this, targeting developers and construction workers to come in and build low-income housing for our citizens of Pontiac. And also, we have low-income housing here where we need to get to these absentee owners and say, hey, you need to come up with a plan to make your housing better. is dilapidated. And that goes back to the absentee owner question that I had, is doing city inspections and sending these people these bills and finding them every day that their properties are below human standards.
Okay, so you just spoke highly of the housing piece. What would be your plan for business recruitment and business retention as it stands with the city of Pontiac right now?
So once again, reach out to the commercial realtors and say, hey, we have property here. We think it's prime. So Pontiac is the epicenter of Oakland County. There are over 2 million people within 20 minutes of Pontiac. Think about that. Downtown, there's 2 million plus people in 20 minutes or less from Pontiac, Michigan. So just think about what we could do here business wise if we expand our downtown, if we make this a small business hub where you can come and you have support to open your business, to grow your business, to thrive. So one idea is just having I call it an open city. You call it an open house when you show a house. I'm calling it an open city. You come in, you meet with me, we sit down, we run down a list of properties we have and see what ideas of innovative businesses that we can bring here to Pontiac, not only to attract outside dollars, but to employ people within the city to be successful.
Okay.
The next question I have is, name one specific tangible thing you have done during the pandemic, March 2020 to present, to help the citizens of Pontiac.
So I did a couple things, but I came out with Oakland Forward and passed out turkeys for Thanksgiving. That was an outstanding program. And that was a fun time meeting the citizens and over Thanksgiving, which is my favorite holiday, and making sure they had, food to eat. And also another thing, from January to May, I'm with my robotics students almost every single day, right? And during that time, we form a bond. They have my number. They call me about anything. They need help, homework help, college apps, all that stuff. When COVID-19 hit, it shut that down. I remember we competed in Milford, Michigan, and we were semifinalists. We had this year we had a great robot. We thought we can go to Worlds and make some damage at Worlds, but COVID said, boom, none of that. I missed that time with them, to bond with them, to help them get into college. And so when first came back and they said, well, you guys can meet, we all agreed, the mentors, we say, yeah, we want to meet with these students. We will do whatever we need to meet with them. So what that did was, and a lot of our students were struggling. This was new. Some people were looking forward to prom and they were looking forward to their senior year, hanging out with their friends. You remember how that was. And so this really took a toll on them. But one of the ways we tried to alleviate some of the feelings, some of the depression they faced and uncertainty is we brought them back into robotics. And we made sure we did every single thing we could do to be socially distanced. I was able to still meet with the students along with the other mentors, help them get to college. So that was really big for the parents. That was really big for the students. And that was really big for us. So that was one tangible thing I did. And, it was hard because I've been with them so long. So my first 4-year class, I really wanted to celebrate with them their last year with me because I was with them all 4 years. Like that class is really going to talk about my impact, whether it was good or bad, because I was with them 4 years, do your homework, go to college, and to be robbed of that senior year, like that hurt. But we were able to get back together and kind of come back to some kind of normalcy.
Okay, look like our next question came from Tracy Hirsch, and she wants to know, what is your plan for the seniors in terms of helping them in their latter years to live a good life here in Pontiac?
Yeah, so a couple of ideas is, no senior citizen should be shoveling the snow in the summer. In the winter. of course they wouldn't. Well, you live in Michigan, you might snow in the summer. They should not be shoveling snow in the winter. So we have all these local snow companies, within the city, going to them first and contracting with them first to clear the snow of our senior citizens. They shouldn't, be doing their line in the summertime. It's hot outside, it's muggy. Once again, going with local lawn companies, trusting them, that they trust to do their lawn. Also, we have to protect our seniors from scams. People from DTE, fake DTE, walking up to the doors, scamming them, robbing them. So there needs to be a pipeline between our senior citizens' complaints and prosecution and justice. And that should be unabridged. It should be quick. So that's another plan. Also, taking care of their homes. Maybe partnering with some contractors, some GCs, general contractors, finding grant money to where we can help them, maybe take care of a dilapidated kitchen or, a hole in the roof or something like that. So we must care for our senior citizens. We must care for our disabled community and our veterans as well in the same manner.
Tracy Hirsch also sent in another question that was sent to her by Trent from District 4. We have a lot of talented young people in our city. The primary focus is sports. However, what programs would you offer outside of sports for the youth? So
one of the things, technology is 21st century, right? Like if we have to bridge that gap in math and science between our people and our counterparts. So one of the things I would love to bring to Pontiac is meeting with tech companies and doing having a girls code, where girls can code and make a summer coding program where they can make apps and build their websites, do whatever. Also, maybe bringing a summer arts, theater, and music program to Pontiac, where we have a program where the kids who love art can perform, can paint and hang their arts in the Pontiac Art Center, or try to get something down in Detroit Institute of Art. Theater. I took theater 101 in college and thought I was a young Denzel. It was fun. I'm not an actor, but it was a fun class. So just bringing the performing arts back to Pontiac. We got Strand Theater, so let's use it. And also a music program. Pontiac has some of the best high school bands anywhere, period. And that was just because we had strong music programs at the high school and the music was within the city. So I call it a summer ATM program, a summer arts, theater, and music program. And then also the coding for getting minorities and women into coding. Once again, you look out, there's $175,000, $80,000 jobs that Google want to give to minorities and women, but the supply is so low. So we want the next Google to come out of Pontiac, and I work with these kids, and they're intelligent, and so it can be done. But we need to have the city behind them.
All right, we got a question from Sean Preston. How do you feel about the transportation options currently in the city of Pontiac? Do you feel we have enough? And if not, what will you do to help increase those options?
We don't have enough transportation in the city of Pontiac. Let's I think I see the same bus everywhere, to be honest with you. But the issue with transportation in Southeast Michigan. So I lived in Washington, D.C. For a year. I can probably count on two hands how many times I drove my car, because us millennials, we love transportation. We love public transportation. It's quick, it's easy. You don't have to worry about parking and things of that nature. But the thing that Washington, D.C. doesn't have is GM, Ford, and Chrysler, right? Because if you have mass transportation, people are not going to drive cars. So it will drive down their sales. And once they're not buying enough parts, what happens? The suppliers go out of business. So it's a trickle-down effect. So transportation here in Michigan, mass transportation is almost impossible. But what we can do is we can talk to the Michigan Department of Transportation and smart and figure out how we can strategically realign our routes to where we can cover the most ground here in the city of Pontiac. I will also love to see the Q line actually come all the way up Woodward. I think that would be a amazing, innovative idea. Once again, you got to get the big three on board because it takes away from people using their cars, and they thrive on people using their cars and buying cars and things of that nature. So transportation, perfect transportation in Michigan may be impossible, but I think it can be, I think we can realign our bus routes, and I think we can get that Q line. I'm on board with moving the Q line all the way up here to Pontiac. That way we can have better transportation and our citizens can move easier around this region.
The next question is from the YouTube feed. It's from Teddy7984. He says, how would you go about adding more public schools, mainly another high school and middle school, if the school district student numbers go up, and where would you put them?
So, Pontiac Northern has a lot of land behind it. I don't know if you've been behind Pontiac Northern, so there's an area back there where we can expand. But this was an issue I brought up to the school board, and so the numbers would have to increase really first before they will authorize another building. It's something you just can't simply just erect. There's a process. But to the location question, it would have been really nice if we could have set something huge on this Pontiac Silverdome land. Like there was a ton of space there to put a nice world-class elementary, couple of them, maybe one or two, a big middle school and a huge high school on that land. But obviously we sold to that area. That's another story. But so Pontiac Northern has a lot of land behind there that could be utilized. I think we need to renovate Emerson. That could be another elementary school in the east side area if that crowd opens up or it gets bigger. I think Whittier, it has a lot of Walt Whitman has a lot of land there that you can expand the school. So really we have schools that we can expand, which is a blessing. A lot of our schools sit on land you can expand the school on that land. So that's where another high school, Pontiac Central. I love Pontiac Central. I just never really liked that location because their fields was Wisner Stadium, right? They didn't have accessible fields and parking, but we would have to figure out a place to put another school on the south side to serve that community.
Okay, I'm not gonna hold this central bashing against you. I'm not gonna do that for you. But
Central.
Got a question from David from District 1. How do you plan on working with local outreach programs and nonprofits?
Nonprofit board. Simple. A city thrives on nonprofit organizations to fill in the gaps where the government can't quite fill in because of poor finances or whatnot. But definitely bringing together our nonprofits and putting them on a community board and meeting with them and saying, hey, what support do you need? What grants is the city missing out on? How can we support you in getting those grants? Because nonprofits are important. They, like I said, they serve needs that maybe the city government can't quite fully serve. So that's one of my plans, definitely putting a nonprofit board together, and I would love to work with them.
The next question is from Sean Preston as well. Will you bring the CDBG program back to Pontiac?
Yes, I was just on a call with someone about that. Of course, we need that. We need to develop our neighborhoods. And once again, it's a trickle-down effect. If you have lovely homes in the neighborhood, then the value will go up. Right now, we're seeing record numbers in the real estate industry. I have clients who put 30, 40,000 over asking price and still not getting it. But is Pontiac getting that? No, because Pontiac is not getting that because we don't offer the education and we don't offer the public service to justify going 40, 50, 60,000 over asking price. And so we can do that through develop. That's it. The purpose of the grant is within its name, community development block grant. It's in the name. So you take that money, you develop these vacant homes, you don't tear them down. If they can still be useful, you build them up and you put working families in those homes. So that way they can share in the American dream of home ownership. So, oh yeah, that's definitely, we're bringing that back. The money is with the county. So of course, Mayor Jeremy Bowie and the county will have a conversation of getting that money down and understand Mayor Jeremy Bowie. He's not afraid to go to the courtroom. Trust me, I thrived in the courtroom for years. I know I'm 32, but I've been in the courtroom since I was 27 years old, and I thrived there. If I need to go there to get something for Pontiac, we will definitely go there.
All right, I got a question from Destiny in District 3. What is your plan to fix city-owned parks like Ann Perry Park and the Mill Dam, especially the fields?
Yeah, so working with the Department of Natural Resources, there's some beautiful parks in Pontiac, some beautiful areas where we can put money into and people can come sharing and enjoy. So one of the things I want to do is get grant money to fix up our parks and replace the equipment, open them up, making them safe for kids to come and play. So yeah, this is basically partnering with the state and getting money, and we can take some of the money that we have from the youth village and take care of some of these parks, because these parks they're for the kids, they're for the community, but kids go play there, so there should be equipment there for them to use. They should be safe. They should be clean. I definitely want to step up our effort in keeping our parks clean, keeping the lawns cut, keeping the grass cut. Keeping them, picking up the trash, replacing our equipment. So,
okay.
The next question I have was from last night's session. It's important that the mayor not only loves Pontiac, understands Pontiac from the inside out, and what better way to do that than by living in the city? So are you a Pontiac resident? And that was from Tiffany Diana.
Harrington Hills. H Hills, that's my place over there. Yeah, I'm definitely a resident. I love the city. And so, I ain't going nowhere. You can be from Pontiac and be successful. That's the message. That's the message I want to pass down to people. Like, we're not going to look at Pontiac as a settlement. We're not going to look at Pontiac as some place where you can't come out of and be successful. That is the farthest thing from the truth. You can be from here. You can be successful. You can love this place and be successful. So, yeah, I'm over in the Harrington Hills.
Okay, you gave us a lot of information tonight, but one question, like I said, it's some few questions I'm going to ask every candidate, and this is one of them. And the major part of it is, what is your why?
Once again, when a place like Pontiac molds you to be the person you are, you have an obligation to do all you can to make it better for the next generation. I don't care what you've done. I don't care where you've gone. That's my why. There's no agenda for me. It's the best interest of the city of Pontiac. And I feel that we don't have what we need to be successful in City Hall right now. And so working with these students, instilling in them the principle of do well in school, help people, give back to the community that gave to you. It would be a contradiction for me to have made it to this point in life and not give back to the city of Pontiac, especially when I'm working with our most important assets, which is our children. That is my why. I don't need this position for 5-6 terms. I don't need this position for financial gain. I don't need it for nothing, but only to work in the best interest of the city, move it forward. If that's done in 1 term, you can have it. If it's done in 2 terms, you can have it after that. That is my why. Because if we don't, focus on the most important asset in our community, which is our kids. And if we don't take this serious, we're going to lose our city, period. And there's nothing we can do about it. We're on an irreversible course right now. August 3rd, people will have a choice, and that choice will determine the sustainability and the existence of Pontiac. And so that is my why. To to have people have on that ballot the best possible candidates to lead this city forward, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, so you said that you grew up in the city and are a citizen of Pontiac and all that. This one is a question for me. What's something you've seen change in the city that really bothers you? Like from when you were younger and now? What is the thing that you would try to bring back, or what do you say has been lost over the years?
The culture, really, the community culture, the me walking down Dudley Street and I might be, doing something bad, and the neighbor say, "Hey, Jeremy, stop that," and me, say, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell your mom. Okay, I'm sorry." We lost that culture. We lost that community. Now, if you say something to a kid, it could go left quick, right? And then also we lost the cultural events we had, the arts, beats, and needs, the carnival at the Silver Dome. Like, these were things you look forward to doing. Like, I played, Pontiac taught me how to play golf. I used to go over there and play golf at the golf range over there on Walton. That's gone, baseball. We lost the fun in the city, and I want to bring that back. I want to bring back the cultural festivities. I want to bring back something similar to Arts Meets and Eats. I'm still upset about how Art Meets and Eats is not in Pontiac. I still don't have a clear answer for that. It's in Royal Oak, where parking costs you 2 arms, a kidney, and a leg. Like, this is what I miss. I miss the fun of the city. I didn't need to go to Detroit. I had family in Detroit. I didn't need to go down there to have fun. I need to run down to Detroit. Matter of fact, they would run up here. It was so much fun. You had the Northern versus Central. The basketball games were fun. The football games. We used to win all the basketball games. No, I'm just playing. But, it was it's that fun, Jasmine, that we're missing. It's that culture. It's that community-oriented mindset we had. Is gone because people trust in government has eroded, and it's a small population of the city making decisions for the whole. So what I want to bring back is trust, and I want to move the city forward together, and I want to make this place a place where you can safely live, work, and play. You can play too.
Okay, got a question. Deborah from District 1. What is the first thing on your agenda if elected?
The first thing on my agenda is finding a new law firm to represent our city that understands our city. And then also getting a parliamentarian so we can have order in our meetings, so we can have respect in our meetings, and we can get the business flowing.
The next question from our YouTube feed is from KermitWilliams.com. He says, What would you prioritize what would you prioritize in the budget?
The first thing we need to work on is figuring out what we're going to do about the fire department. I think we will have to commit money to doing something, right? We cannot not have a fire department running here in the city of Pontiac, and when things go wrong, we need one. So that's a big contract. That's important. Also, like I said, the next mayor is handcuffed in this Pontiac Phoenix Center debacle. So figuring out how we can effectively get out of that and rid ourselves of that responsibility, that obligation. So those are the 2 big things. And 3, trying to implement programming here for the youth. So the mayor gets in January, I believe the 3rd is the second 3rd. It's the first day of business, according to the charter for the mayor. So preparing something so we can have summer programming in 2022 for our young people. That way we can start building the athletics back. We can identify the next Denzel Washington or the next Alicia Keys in music or the next, Pablo Picasso or whatever in artistry. So those would be my 3 top priorities. And then putting a program together with Pontiac schools, seeing how we can provide money for our kids to go off to college and yet raise the reading levels, the math levels, the science levels, things of that nature.
Okay, got a question from Chris from District 6. What are your plans for downtown? Most Pontiac citizens do not utilize our downtown. There are not a lot of options for us. What are your visions to incentivize the citizens to utilize our own downtown?
That would have been amazing. We could have put like a Meyer down there, that would have brought a ton. So what Pontiac downtown needs is some kind of big symbol that will draw people downtown. And then they can walk around downtown like, oh, I didn't know that was there. Oh, I had some of this before. It's really nice. There's not that big draw downtown. Why? Because we have a Phoenix Center we can't even do nothing on. It's not safe. It's not safe to do anything. So the big crowd that come downtown to Pontiac, it's not going to be there that the Phoenix Center can draw because it's not in working order. And then you have the M1 course that's closer to Bloomfield on Woodward, right next to the hospital. So what Pontiac needs is that big ticket item downtown to draw people down so they can see the small business. Also, we can utilize our website, the Pontiac website, which I do want to hire somebody to make over because it's not good. I'm sorry. To where we can highlight businesses on the Pontiac website, the Pontiac web pages, to say, hey, we got Tina's Tea downtown. See the mayor drinking Tina's tea, like, hey, come on down and get one on the mayor, get some tea on the mayor. Like, we have to actively promote our businesses within government, but also we need to draw big ticket business downtown so that way it draws the people down there, and even events to draw people down there so they can shop and they can see what's downtown. And then once again, opening up that real estate, having an open city and bringing them downtown and say, how can we reconfigure downtown to where people will come. Now, one thing I'm noticing in Detroit, I don't mean to be too long on my answer, is it's strategic what they're doing downtown. So I worked at Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. Right there next to it, you had a jail. You had the new jail. I think it was Division 3, and then you had the old jail back there. So one of the things Detroit was having a problem was people wouldn't really come down there. I'm like, or live down. I'm like, well, who want to live next to a prison? Who want to live next to, the criminal division? So now that Dan Gilbert has those areas and they push Frank Murphy, now the Wayne County justice system up 75, that's going to open up the ability for Dan Gilbert or whoever to get down there and put businesses down there to draw people back downtown, because you have Ford Field, you have Comerica Park, and you have the Little Caesars, Joe Louis. I call it Joe Louis too. I'm not calling it pizza. So that draws people downtown. That's something we need here in Pontiac. You have to develop strategically. You just can't erect buildings and say, hey, come here. You have to plan strategically.
The next question, we'll just go with the one on the screen. From Sean Preston. Noise from M1 has been an issue for residents on the south side. What will you do to fix this?
So I get it. You want to bring, Pontiac is, to me, it's the real place that put, the world on wheels. So I understand the wanting to keep that fabric and culture in our community, but it's like Mr. Preston said, it's too close to neighbors. And so I've been talking to citizens who say, we have veterans that live over here that have PTSD and it's affecting them. People can't sleep. So if you're going to build that there, what about sound barrier walls? Like when you go down a highway and you see them erecting these walls, there's a reason for that, because noise travels. And so when you have these barriers down the highway, it cuts out all that noise. So if you have these high-powered, high-engine cars and you're racing them and your revenue engines up high, I don't understand why there wasn't some kind of requirement to put soundproof, build soundproof barriers around that track to encapsulate that noise, right? And it works because think about how the big house at the University of Michigan is made. It's made to where the noise goes down into the stadium. So when you're down on the field, you hear the screaming, the noise is coming from above, but it's going down. You don't hear it going out. And so that's what these barriers do. It will trap the noise so that way the neighbors around aren't affected. I don't know what went into that development. I don't know why that wasn't thought about. But once again, when we build in the city of Pontiac, we have to do it strategically.
I think the last question I have, this is going back to your comments about transportation, and this comes from Ted from District 6. In terms of your ideas about transportation and changes available, would it include anything for veterans who really need reliable transportation to get to Detroit appointments and other city appointments?
Yeah, so I think, we should utilize some of these car services as far as Uber, as far as Lyft, just reaching out and seeing if there's special programming to where, we have a list of veterans, we have a list of senior citizens that they're able to, get these rides to their appointments wherever they need. Once again, like I said, we have the big three here. They are not going to be on board with mass transportation. Once again, because they know their audience is, a little more is in the millennial age, and they know that we look for environmental friendly ways of doing things and frugal ways of doing things because we have crushing debt that we got to take care of. And so to circumvent the transportation issues, we have all these car services, the Lyfts, the Ubers, we have the Shipt, for your groceries and things of that nature. We need to start utilizing it as a city. We need to start leveraging these resources. And all it is just a conversation and putting a program together. Say, hey, here's the senior citizens in our community. They need to make it to their doctor's appointments. They need to make it to do whatever they need to do. So one of the ideas is to speak with Lyft, Uber, and maybe some other small mom and pop, car service, that's probably not as big as those two entities, but still is a strong entity to get our senior citizens to where they need to go. They shouldn't be trapped in a house, and they shouldn't have to rely on unreliable transportation.
Okay. So my next question, Lisa, District 4. We have some of the worst grocery stores in Oakland County. What is your plan to correct this?
She said grocery stores?
Yes.
Okay. Health department, making sure that, food is being preserved correctly. Food is being discarded when necessary. The stores are clean and smelling, not bad, but, flies and things are not building up in the store. So just really getting the health department to go in and really inspect these stores and make sure they're up to compliance, FDA compliance, state and federal level compliance. Once again, with some of the bigger chains, they really thrive off foot traffic. So they tend to, keep their stores up. And the one thing in my theory, the reason why some of these stores have inferior stores conditions is because where else do Pontiac citizens can go? Where else can they go, right? So when you have the supply and the demand is greater, you don't really need to do much to make your product better because you will always have people coming and going, as they please because you're the only show in town. So that's why I said we need to make the food market here in Pontiac more competitive, and then just rely on some of our food growers here and help build them up to supply these national chains. So, but to answer the immediate question is, we need health inspections. We need people coming in and finding these store owners and saying, hey, I don't know what that smell is in your store, but it needs to go away. You have food here, you have flies. Like, what is your process of ensuring this food is safe? So that would be my plan.
Okay, so this would probably be the last question for the evening because we want to give you an opportunity to close out your statement tonight. And so this question comes from Tammy in District 2. Do you have a plan in place to help those who are coming back to our community from jails or prison? And also, how will you help deal with the mental health crisis currently going on in our city?
Yes, so one of the issues we have is reentry. They come out, they're released, and they have nowhere to go. And a lot of times they have to revert back to the things they've done to that got them in jail or prison or whatever. So it's just sitting down and finding, having group homes that are catered toward helping people reenter society, right? Our prisons used to do that, but now that's the job of the government, the city governments, right? Pontiac has has a lot of halfway homes. They have the domestic violence shelters. They have, being a seat of the county, we have communities, our rehabilitative community is huge here. So one of the things is partnering and see if we can put a program together, a city program that when you do re-enter back in society, that you can be eased back in with a job to make sure you don't go back to committing crime to get money, making sure you're in an area where you can get an education, talking with OCC, maybe OU, getting programming together to help re-enter society. That way you have a job, you have some studies, maybe a tech school, a trade school. So it's about capturing them as quickly as you can before they return back to what they did that got them in jail and pushing them on a path of success. So just partnering with the local universities around here, community college, and then really partnering and see if we can get them right into jobs. Incentivizing hiring people who, hiring and developing people who are re-entering the society. And for mental health, definitely partnering with, health organizations to make sure we have counselors in schools, that we have places where people can come and speak about their problems.
All right, I guess we'll give you a few moments here to segue and give the people a reason on why they should vote for you on August 3rd.
So once again, thank you, Pontiac United, for the opportunity to speak with the citizens. I think this is critically important. Once again, I'm Jeremy Bowie. I'm running for mayor here in the city of Pontiac. I'm 32 years old, born and raised here, made here, still reside here. I mentor, I just love people. And one of the reasons why I wanted to be a lawyer was to learn this system and help my people be free. Honestly, help people in general be free. This is important for me because this is my chance to give back to the community that gave so much to me. This is my chance to give back to the community whose shoulders I stand upon. When I go across this world and say, hey, I'm from Pontiac, I'm the kid. A lot of people know me. You the kid from Pontiac. You always talking about Pontiac because I love the city. And when you love something, you do everything you can to make it better. You do everything you can and watch it thrive. And I just don't see that in Pontiac, and it's hurtful. It seemed like it was generations telling me when I was young, Pontiac ain't what it used to be. Now I'm telling generations younger than me, Pontiac ain't what it used to be. When will that ball stop? There, across this country is a movement of us millennials who are saying we're done with the system. We're done with wait your turn. We're done with, check in with me to do something politically. We're done with that. People have had their shot. They either didn't take it or they missed it horribly. Voting for me means longevity. Voting for me means you have somebody who will fight for Pontiac. I'm a proven winner in the courtroom. I'm a proven winner in government. That you will have somebody who will go to that desk every day and say, with the first thing on his mind, what's in the best interest of Pontiac? How to bring Pontiac back. I do not play with ethics. You will have ethical people in City Hall. You will have transparent people in City Hall. You will have competent people in City Hall. I'm not saying, that we need to do a clean sweep. There are great people in City Hall, but we need leadership there that will take this city forward into the 21st century. And that's what a vote for Jeremy Bowie on August 3rd is. And that's what a vote with Jeremy Bowie on November 2nd is restoring trust back in the city and moving the city forward together. Once again, I'm Jeremy Bowie, running for mayor here in the city of Pontiac. You can email me at bowieforpontiac@gmail.com. That's BOWIEFOR pontiac@gmail.com. And you can visit my website, bowieforpontiac.com. And please email me. Tell me to come to the cookout. I will come talk to y'all. I will come to the beauty shop. Get in contact with me. Thank you, Pontiac. I love y'all.
With all of that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, candidate Jeremy Bowie. Thank you, Damar Bias, for being the co-moderator tonight. Everyone, please be sure to tune in tomorrow, Friday, May 14th at 6 p.m. for our next Q&A session with candidate Mark Holland. Thank you all so much.
Yep, and we want to make sure that we thank F&G Media for hosting this event. They have been pulling this off without a hitch, man, giving each candidate an opportunity to get their message out to the public. So we thank you, F&G Media.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.